Marine reacts to SCP-076 and 073 on Maybe God Will Forgive You If We Both Beg by SCP Illustrated. Now, as always, I'm going to be leaving a link to the original video and channel down in the description below, so go ahead and make sure that you check them out. So recently we've seen both the videos of Cain and Abel from the same channel of SCP Illustrated, and I'm very excited to see kind of what this whole thing is meaning as far as God forgiving one of them. It doesn't really specify who in the title, if they both beg. And I'm very excited to see just what kind of interaction is going to be there between Cain and Abel. I'm pretty sure Abel is going to be a little aggressive towards Cain, and Cain obviously the opposite. I want to see if the attacks to Abel, if he does attack Cain, if they'll reflect off or what's going to happen here. I'm not really too sure what to expect. All I know is that there's most likely going to be some confrontation. And a quick update about the SCP game Containment Breach that I'm going to be playing. Finally got it to work. I recorded some gameplay, although for some reason I didn't select the right setting for the actual size of the picture. So it's like a little box on the left hand and my little webcam on the right hand. So I'm going to try to fix that, get it to overlap. That way you can actually see it in full screen. And that'll be here very, very soon. And as always, don't forget to hit that like button. It really does help me out a lot. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell right there. That way you get notified every time I do upload. Sometimes even uploading twice a day. Typically working on them in the mornings and then releasing them in the late afternoon to late evening. So when you all get off work, you can enjoy these videos at your leisure. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what kind of interaction these two SCPs are going to have.
Good day everyone and welcome back to SCP Illustrated, entry log 118. Today we're taking a look at a tale involving SCP-073 and SCP-076. Make sure you are familiar with both of them before watching this video. The tale in question is called Maybe God Will Forgive You If We Both Beg. It's short, it's sweet, and it's sad. And without further ado, let's begin.
From this picture alone, I really tell it's going to hit me in the feels.
The following data release has been authorized by the following council members and administration staff.
In this world, consequence cannot bear the harshness of catastrophe. Mistakes are given lighter punishments, falling stars shoot through the night sky, and occasionally grant wishes of observers below. It is a softer place.
The Foundation did not have to suffer from its judgment errors as harshly as in other worlds. Employees worked in relative peace. Some even found the time to grant small mercies. When the Foundation first asked Cain to reunite with his brother, he took 3 days to decide. On the third day, he agreed on the condition that the only person who could abort the mission would be himself. The Foundation took 3 more days before agreeing. Cain settled by the coffin that held his brother in a white room. He didn't know if Abel could hear him in there. Maybe Abel was sleeping. The thought made him smile a bit. At least Abel's habit of long naps hadn't changed. Regardless, he spoke his apologies in a language to which they were the sole survivors.
Say, brother, good morning. Shouldn't you be tending to your sheep? They're all down the hills, scattered. Their children have fled our lands and filled the cliffs as mountain goats, the deserts and savannas as camels and antelope. Good morning, brother.
3 minutes later, Abel stepped out of the coffin, drew a blade and tried to decapitate his brother. Cain did not move to dodge. Any wounds delivered to him would simply reflect back to the attacker. Abel's head fell onto the floor, then caved in on itself as a pile of dust. The coffin swung shut. Cain coughed, ran his hands over his own neck.
Alright, so the whole deflection thing that Cain has does work on Abel. I do remember Cain still being able to feel the wounds he does get. But I mean, obviously, Abel comes out, straight chest to kill him. You can kind of understand why he would do that.
And winced.
Good to see you too.
Every 2 days, Abel would leave his coffin and try to kill his brother. Sometimes Cain talked to the coffin. For 2 months, this futile attempt at discussion was all they had. Eventually, Abel's anger simmered down enough to allow a question from his lips.
Why, Cain? Why are you here?
I came to ask for... Abel did not allow the conversation to continue.
So it's saying that every 2 days Abel was coming out, even though they said that his regeneration would always depend. It could be, I believe, up to 26 years to a month to... But, I mean, it kind of seems like now he has some kind of control over when he wakes up. Because if he's doing it every 2 days for, 2 months straight, he might have some power over when he does regenerate or how fast he regenerates. Maybe. I'm just kind of theorizing here.
This went on for another month. He would ask the same questions again and again, finding himself unable to face any answers. Abel had been a colicky newborn. The only thing that soothed him was his mother's lullabies. So Cain sang as Abel slept. He breathed a soft, haunting melody that dwelt on brighter days. Later, the tattooed man stepped out of the coffin and into the white room. His bare feet made soft padding noises as he stepped towards his older brother, watching him with the patient gaze of a farmer waiting for his crops to fruit.
Why? Why did you do it? Why are you here now after killing me and leaving me? Leaving me to these people, with their marks on me. All their marks. Tell me!
First off, it's starting to get me a little bit. It's starting to get me right here. Second, he's saying that after he killed them, that he left them to these people. Now, obviously, they can't be talking about the SCP Foundation because this was way back when. But it seems like I have seen in the comments that there's some kind of a cult or a group of people who actually gave him these markings to Abel, and that's why he's able to reincarnate every time. He has these abilities. I feel like that may have desecrated him. I don't know, like his soul or his body, just in general. I mean, obviously his body, but I don't know who this group of people are, or if they even have a name, or if they're just kind of left out in the mystery to draw your own conclusions. I guess now I kind of know that it was a group of people that did this after he was killed by Cain.
I was young and jealous. I got older, and time carved its wisdom into me. I'm here now because I still love you. Please forgive me, Abel. Everyone we knew as children has left to God's garden.
The older brother leaned forwards to pull his sibling into a tight hug.
My beautiful baby brother. It's just us now.
Abel drew a blade, clutched the hilt, and then let go. He leaned into the embrace, clinging tightly.
It's not fair. It's not fair. You're so untouched. Can't leave a single wound on you. And yet, look at me. Look at all the things done to me. You used to be my hero. But this... You let this happen to me.
I see it, Abel. I see what I've done. I take full responsibility. I'll earn my title back. If you'll have me. This I promise with everything I have.
Cain swaddled his brother in his arms, rocking him back and forth and stroking his hair. Abel clutched Cain's shirt, his body trembling as he wept. His fingers began to soften and collapse into dust. His brother continued rocking him as he too crumbled. By the time their tears reached the floor, they could only wet the dust that remained.
Alright, let's talk about that for a minute. Not too long. Very emotional. You can understand. The only part that I really do have a question on is whether or not what he meant by the children that they knew have left for God's garden. Which obviously would mean that they're the only two who aren't there, and obviously Cain for killing his brother, Abel for... I don't know if it was technically on Abel, really, because technically he got killed, and then this group of people left these markings on him. which I guess kind of tainted his soul, or I mean just his body in general, and then that's why he was kind of like not necessarily welcomed by the Gate Guardian as well as Abel. And I'm assuming that since they're the only ones two who aren't there, they're trying to seek forgiveness from God. I don't know from 343, because obviously he's most likely not the one that you would hear in the Bible, or the one in relation to Cain and Abel. And they're trying to seek forgiveness so that maybe they can both go back to the Garden of Eden. I really did think we were going to see a little bit of the God version in this, but obviously we didn't. But, you know, that might be later on down the road if the author so decides it. And that's going to go ahead and be it for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hit that bell button. It really does help me out a lot. Dislike if you didn't like the video. It really does help me improve the channel. If you're curious as to what videos I'm going to be reacting to next, just make sure you go ahead and check them in the description. The SCP Containment Breach game I'm going to be playing. It's going to be coming out here very soon. And as always, I'll see you all in your next reaction video. Bye.